Wayne Charvel has been designing and building guitars for over 50 years. He's designed guitars for B.C. Rich, Gibson, and worked for Fender Guitars in the 1970s. Wayne started Charvel Manufacturing in San Dimas, California, and later hired Grover Jackson for administration work. Eventually, Wayne sold Charvel to Grover Jackson, and since that time, Wayne has continued to build high-end, USA-made guitars. His current line is the Wayne guitar. He bought his first new Fender Stratton amplifier in 1959. He was working as a sign shop at the time as a spray painter, and in about 1960 he decided to take his Strat apart and paint it candy apple blue. It was then that he became interested in repairing and refinishing guitars. At that time, Fender Guitars needed someone to do their out-of-warranty refinish work and asked him if he would be interested. Wayne said yes, and worked for them for about 3 years. He also recovered amplifiers and electric pianos, as well as Tolix, repaired guitars in the garage for about a year. His first customer was Jeff Ross, a great telly player. He later became lead guitar player for the Bellamy Brothers. He opened Charvel's Guitar Repair in 1974 in Azusa, California. It was in this shop that Wayne continued to do for Fender. Fender sent him his first rock star customer, Deep Purple. They wanted custom work done to their instruments, such as humbucking, cavities routed in the bodies, and custom pickups installed. In those days, Fender did not do any custom work except for finishes. Somehow, The Who found out he was doing custom work, and Alan Rogan, their main roadie and instrument buyer, commissioned him to build a clear plastic bass for John Entwistle. Soon after that, Wayne started making aftermarket custom guitar parts that fit Fender and Gibson guitars. At that time, his best friend Lynn Ellsworth was interested in what Wayne was doing. He was an excellent woodworker, but he had never made any guitars, so Wayne showed him how to make bodies and necks. He later started Boogie Body Guitars. About 8 months or so after opening his shop, a local music store owner asked him if he could make a jack plate that was unbreakable for a Gibson Les Paul. Wayne said yes, because he'd already made a few jack plates out of aluminum, and this triggered an idea to make jack plates and trem arms for Strats that would not break. These were made out of stainless steel and were 4 times stronger than the original ones. He advertised in Guitar Player magazine and received excellent results, but was only making enough money to pay for the ads. None of the distributors wanted to carry his parts, so he added more and more parts to the line and increased the size of his advertisements. Wayne was doing quite well until the Asian markets caught on to what he was doing. They copied his parts and sold them for about half of the price. At that point, his guitar parts business drastically decreased. The one thing the Asian market couldn't do was make guitars. His first handmade guitar was made in about 1962, and he still has the original neck. It was love for the guitar and the fact that his parts business was decreasing that he decided to make guitars. His first customer was Tommy Bolin of Deep Purple, and his next clients were Billy Gibbons and Dusty Hill from ZZ Top. In the early 1970s, a young man came into his guitar shop in Azusa, California, and introduced himself to Wayne as Eddie Van Halen. He asked Wayne if he could stop his DiMarzio pickup from squealing. Wayne told him he could. The pickups would be soaked in hot wax, which is now known as potting. To the best of his knowledge, they were the first to go pot aftermarket pickups. Eddie was happy that the pickup didn't squeal anymore. After that, Eddie would come by the shop a lot, and sometimes he would sit on the floor and play the guitar while Wayne repaired some of his other guitars. He also did some of his own work. About 8 or 9 months later, Wayne moved his shop to San Dimas, California. Eddie and Michael Anthony, also from Van Halen, used to come over to the new shop and hang out. They would talk about show business, managers, etc. Wayne gave them some World War II atom bomb blast glasses and some old paint respirators, and they used to wear these on stage for some of their Hollywood shows. In that same time period, he teamed up with Dave Schechter from Schechter Guitar Research. He also made bodies, necks, and pickups for guitars. And one weekend, Dave and Wayne made 100 bodies, finished and sanded them. He was already in the mail order business selling guitar parts, so it made sense that he would sell Schechter bodies and necks. They also sold Boogie bodies and necks.
Hi, I'm Wayne Charvel. This is my son Bob. He's going to play a little song that he wrote. We're going to jam it here in the shop. Here we go.
Shortly thereafter, he purchased 2 overhead pin routers and made his own bodies and necks. They sold everything, including DiMarzio pickups. Randy Zacuto from JB Player also purchased parts from Charvel. He hired a friend of Wayne's named Seymour Duncan, who had been making Telly 3-piece bridge saddles and rewinding pickups to make Mighty Mite pickups for him. A short time later, Seymour came out with his own line of pickups, and Wayne's shop also sold those. One day, Eddie came over to the shop and asked Wayne if he had an extra body and neck. Wayne told him he had an extra boogie body neck and an older body he had constructed in his shop. He gave Ed the parts, and the next time he saw the guitar, he painted it white with a spray can and put black tape on it for stripes. He used nails to hold the pickup in the body. By the way, the first DiMarzio pickup he potted for Eddie got too hot, and the cream plastic bobbin shriveled up. It looked bad, but it still worked fine, and Eddie said he liked the way it looked. He asked Wayne to build a guitar that was black with yellow stripes. It had bird's eye maple neck, only this time the stripes were painted on. In those days, they used lacquer and polyester. Side note number 1, Wayne worked for Fender Musical Instruments for 3 years in the 1970s. Gibson for 3 years as a guitar designer and artist relations, and BC Rich for 1 year as a guitar designer and pattern maker. He also owned the WC Guitar Company and the Ritz Guitar Company. Side note number 2. His oldest son Michael and him own and operate Charvel Music, a full-line music store in Paradise, California, where they are currently manufacturing the Wayne guitar as a joint venture. Their new rock legend guitar line is a high-quality guitar for the player who wants to get that early brown sound. Thank you for watching.